Hello and welcome to our video. My name is Shayden and I'm with Joomla. In this video, we'll look at the Testimonial Carousel Element in JD Builder and how you can make the best use of it. I'll go ahead and start by creating a new section. And in here, I'll search for testimonial. So this is a testimonial carousel. And by default, you have 4 testimonials. Kind of works good. It autoplays and everything. And let's look at the options we have here. Let me go ahead and stop autoplay because that would kind of interrupt the changes we're doing. Okay, so in the content, the very first option you have is the number of testimonials you want to have. So by default, we have 4. You can hold them and reorder them. Let's just change this to John Doe 1. And this one to John Smith. And then this would be Josh. And this can be Mary, just so we can see which one we are changing. And of course, in each one of these, you can go and, add a title and put in a company URL. So this is google.com or something. And then you put in the content, their avatar, and that's it. So let's try changing the avatar if we can. So we'll use the Pixabay, and since it's John Doe, so we'll search for portrait model male. And we got a bunch of male portraits here. Okay, that looks like John Doe, maybe not. But maybe we can import that guy. So there's that. Now let's do another one for Marie. And this time we'll say portrait female model. And maybe this one. Oh, maybe. Well, what if we add work? Okay, yeah, that works. Okay, yeah, maybe we can use this one. All right, so you can see we have that image here. Now this is more of a a landscape for not necessarily a portrait. So working women. So what we want is a portrait, so it looks better on the way we are trying to put it. These are all landscape photos. Okay, this should do. Yeah. And there you go. Okay, so we have 2 slides here, which work great. All right. And so this is where you manage testimonials. So obviously you can copy these. All right. So reorder them as you wish, and that works pretty well. Then you have 2 skins, So right now this slideshow looks like a bubble, which is this, but you can change it to default where it's just text. So it's not a bubble anymore. And again, this is a bubble. This is the default. All right. So those are the 2 settings you have as far as the skin is concerned. Then you have the layout, which is really important. So because with layout, you get a flexibility of where all of this appears. So right now, the first layout default is image stacked, which is content is stacked on top of the image. So this is the testimonial and the image is here. You can change this to image and line, or you can change it to image above, where the image is above and the content is at the bottom, and image left, where the image is on the left and the content is on the right, or you can select image right. Now, based on however you want to put this, this offers you a lot of flexibility. If we change it to bubble, it looks like, this person is actually saying this. So it looks more like a real testimonial. Now you can control the alignment of the content. So you can have it right aligned, left aligned, or center. By default, it's center, but I think left aligned looks much better. So there's that. And then you can select how many slides you want per view. So do you want 1 slide per view? There's that. You want 2 slides, 3 slides. Now this would look much better if you had less content or more content. So depending on the amount of content you have, you can adjust this number, right? So now the dots are gone because slide and sets, this is the next setting. What it does is when we say 3 slides per view, instead of sliding 1 at a time, it's going to slide 3 at a time or 2 at a time, as you can see. But if we say, slide normal, then it just slides 1 at a time, which looks good as well. So those are the content settings you have. Then you go to the navigation, So do you want the arrows? Again, the arrows kind of appear inside the frame, so it may be interrupting to a few people. So in case you want to disable these, you could do that as well. Or you could definitely disable these, And then you have the pagination, which means, these dots at the bottom. So you can disable the pagination. Then you have the infinite loop. That means after reaching the first slide, would it automatically show up the slide number 1? When I turn this on, I can go forward and then switch to slide number 1. But if I don't turn it on, I'll be stopped at slide number 4 or whichever is the last one, which is Marie in this case. Then you have the draggable. So right now I'm able to drag these left or right using the mouse. It doesn't seem to be working right now, but it was working fine. Oh, I have to hold this image. Yeah, okay. So draggable lets you use the mouse. Now this would be great for mobile phones or tablets, touchscreens, where your users can just swipe left and right. But if you want to turn it off and only allow navigation using dots or arrows, you could do that. And then you have the autoplay that was working initially when we started working on this. So the autoplay lets you automatically, where the slides will automatically play. So right now it's 7 seconds. Let me just change it to 1000, which means every 1 second the slide would change automatically. And then you can say pause and hover, which means when I mouse over, would it stop or not? So if I say pause and hover, it stops, and then it stops going again. So this can really work good for you on how you want to do it, how you want to do it. Next, we have the styling section. Now this again gives you control over the colors, the size, the text colors, pretty much everything that appears here, and the background color and everything. So this styling is really for the whole slide. This is for the whole slide, what size you want the slides to have. And then if you want to add a background color, so there's that. I'll just go ahead and clear this because we don't need a background color. If you want to have a border and all kind of things. Then you have the avatar styling. So this photo, how big you want this photo, you can have it much bigger, of course. And so you control the width and the height as proportional. So you control the width and it'll automatically adjust the height to match the proportional width. And if you want to have the images rounded, so right now you can see the image is kind of rounded with its border radius. So there's 4 pixels of border radius, 5 pixels. If I turn it to 0, and you can see now you have the image with square corners, very sharp edges. So if that works for you, that goes with the styling for your website, you can do that. And then you have the box shadow, a little bit of stuff here and there. Then you have the navigation styling. And the navigation styling is really for the arrows and the dots, this navigation, how to control. So you can control the size of the arrows. Let's try to make them bigger. All right, that's quite big. Or keep them a decent size, I think 30 pixels is kind of decent. You can decide the color of the arrows as well, so depending on the background, like black on black ain't looking good. I can't even see the arrow here, but if you make them red, then they're visible. So that works really well. And then you can also decide the pagination, the size, if you want to make the dots really small. And if you want to, have the pagination of the dots, the color, manage the color of the dot. So I can change this to black. Let me do that. And then the mouse over or the active one can be green color. So that works. And last, you have the bubble setting. So if you are using the bubble and you want to maybe possibly change the color of the bubble, you can totally do that depending on how you want it. So possibly a color like this would look really good. And changing the height a little bit. I think we were adjusting the height, not here, but somewhere we had the that, or maybe it's just the content. Yeah, maybe yeah, it's the avatar height we increased, I think, which increased the overall height of the slide. Yeah, so if we make that a bit smaller, now it looks much better, and with the arrows disabled. All right, and that looks like again, you can add border to this if you want to, so you can have a simple border to this. And if you don't want, let's just remove the border or have a shadow, and that's how you use the testimonials carousel. This is really good. Gives you a lot of edge, a lot of control over how your sliders should look like. All right, I hope this answers any questions you may have, and thank you for tuning in so far. Thanks for watching.